I'm Ashley and welcome to my space here. Today I have for you my relationship toolbox, which is going to be focused on, drum roll please, today it's going to be focused on connection. Our word for today is going to be connect. And what I'm going to have us do, I wanted to keep it kind of like relaxed and chill, and yeah, that's mostly my vibe, is trying to be like, it's super yin, so think of very like, I just want you to come and sit on the floor. Actually, the best place you can do this is going to be on your bed or on the couch or in a comfy chair. Whatever is comfortable for you, get really nice and comfy. Maybe grab yourself some coffee, or preferably decaf, because caffeine, gives you a little bit of headache or a little bit of anxiety, but or some tea, or a smoothie or whatever. Just get comfy, grab a blanket, put on your most comfy clothes. And today, light some candles, maybe even just create a space for yourself. That's what I really want you to do, is create a sacred space for yourself. A space you can go that is just for you. Because today we're going to focus on one of my favorite techniques, one of my favorite things to do for self-love, for self-care, for tending to my body, is, and what really actually helps my relationship with myself and my relationship in a more physical sense. So it's one of my favorite sensual practices. I call this self-massage. So I love to give myself massages, especially this is a great technique to do while you're watching TV, because maybe a lot of us are watching a lot more TV than we're used to, just with the free time that we have, and we can tend to like go to the TV as a way to cope. I don't know about you, but one of my parents' favorite tools and resources for parenting was the TV. And I could easily be sat in front of a TV. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy watching a good TV series or a good movie. I'm all about that. So I'm not against TV, not at all. But to use it as a parenting tool, and you notice how children have access to like tablets and phones at a very young age now, and so it's very easy to distract our children, to make them be quiet by giving them a tablet or setting them in front of the TV just so we can get some time for ourselves. But this is a great way that we can teach our children how to stay connected to our bodies, because what happens when we watch TV is that we're in a very subconscious state, and so it puts our mind into an actual meditative state. And what happens is your subconscious mind becomes a dumping ground for everything you're watching on the television. So it's really important to limit TV time, and I'm not a big fan of it, but totally, when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do, and one of the things I noticed myself going to, is like wanting to have a snack and watch a movie. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of my favorite things that I did as a child, as a way to like relax and chill. So self-massage is a great way to, and you might even see this in your children, they might just like, when they're watching TV, just like play with their feet, or I don't know, do kind of just like sit in odd positions, or it's a way for them to stay connected to their body and stay connected to, excuse my dog in the background, who's having a little bit of a attack right now. It's okay. One of the things that can happen is we can disconnect from our bodies. So self-massage is the perfect way to stay connected to your body while you're watching TV, or even while you're just, I don't know, sitting anywhere, like if you're just trying to like relax, or just to give yourself some time. It's a very meditative tool that also keeps you active, and I really like to stay active. I'm more about movement meditation, because I really like to stay connected to my body, and I really like to feel alive. And one thing that TV always made me feel like I was like, because you have to remember that children's minds aren't fully developed yet, so they don't know the difference between, what's real and what's not real. For them, their dreams are real, so they don't even know they're dreaming. And so TV, when they're watching TV and they're that absorbed into the TV, and it puts you into that meditative state, you begin to get like literally sucked into it. This is why you can see some children like act as their favorite TV show characters, or mimic them, or sound like them, because this is forming their subconscious beliefs. So this is a great relationship tool for your children, I guess. And one of the things that, like, I'm just going to start, so just go ahead and start with before I get too chatty, because I am kind of chatty today, I like to just take my knuckles, like I'm kind of like clawing something, I like to kind of like massage my hands. For me personally right now, I'm doing a lot of yoga. I'm doing like a 30-day challenge right now, and so I've been doing yoga every single day, and my wrists and my hands are really sore. So, and also I like to write. So this is a great one if you're a writer. If you sit even just at a desk all day, or like, you know, hello, how many people of us are like typing on our phones all the time? Or if you're doing yoga, or if you like work with your hands, maybe you're a massage therapist, which is funny because you have to massage yourself. But I like to go down into the arms, and just like, the best part about self-massage is that you're in control. It's like nobody can get to your spots as well as you can, because you know exactly what you need. And this is one of the greatest tools for teaching you how to meet your own needs. Like, hello, who would want to be in a relationship and be massaged every day? Me. But I don't think that if I wouldn't have learned how to really tend to my own body and get to know what it needs, if I would have ever like been able to receive a massage from like a partner, because I would have been like, one, growing up I also didn't receive affectionate touch. So that's another thing I wanted to discuss, because you could just go work into the elbows, because I find that like my wrist pain even and my arm pain goes all the way up into my shoulders, so I'll just work my way up. So just take your time. And I want to mention that you can start anywhere. If you want to start on the neck, if your neck or shoulders are tense, just begin to like massage them and kind of put as much pressure as you need. That's why I said like, if I'm muffled here, sorry. But like being able to like dig into your shoulders, relax your shoulders. You can even focus on your breath here. Just maybe take a few deep breaths. And tend to the neck. Like I said, texting or working at a desk or watching TV a lot, maybe our neck can get a little out of whack. Making sure you're sitting up nice and straight, or if you're like chilling in a chair or, you know, on a bed, you know, that's cool too. Just relax your body. That's the whole purpose here, is we just want to relax our bodies, tend to them. This is like really good for the nervous system. It really tends to the nervous system. It gives it a time to recuperate, and kind of like, you can start like maybe in your back. Sometimes like when I'm about to like start my period, my lower back will get a little, you know, sore or a little achy. And so if that's for you today, then whatever it is for you, that's what we're doing. We're checking in with the body, we're connecting with the body, connecting to the parts of us that are saying, hey, I need some love and attention, some TLC, tend to me. Like sometimes we don't get quiet enough, we don't sit still enough to be able to tend to our bodies in this way. So you can just like massage your hips, and if you like to dig, I like to do it pretty hard, like so I like to like use my fist and kind of like ball it and just kind of like dig into my muscles, and this really helps you. One of my favorite things to do is like really close my eyes and get into it and feel the muscles, feel like the knots, feel the, you know, whatever it is, and really get to like the deeper part of the ache or pain. So we're never going to be able to get rid of like our aches and pains. Our body's always going to be stretching and growing and shifting and changing. And a lot of us are like downloading new codes because we're ascending. And so our energy bodies, even if you believe this or not, you know, like your energy body is being upgraded behind the scenes, if you can't see it. So this can cause a lot of just discomfort in your body. It can really dislodge a lot of emotions that have been stored maybe in the hips. Just things are being upgraded right now. So, and I think one of the most important things to do with all the stress and the chaos in the world is to find that inner stillness, to find that peace, to find that that sanctuary within yourself, and being able to return to that whenever you need release, whenever you need rest, whenever you need to chill. And one of the things that happened for me as a kid is that I lost that, like I didn't keep that inner peace. And my home, I had a lot of chaos in my home, I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of drama. It was loud. One thing, the TV was on almost all the time. And so that was, you know, that really clogged up my clairaudience. So And it really, TV will clog your children's clairvoyance, you know, in their inner image of themselves. So they'll begin to distort their self-image, their pure image that came from God. They'll begin to distort it by the things they watch on TV or by the things they see us do. This can really take a toll on the nervous system, like I said. So what we're doing here is we're just checking in with the body. We're just connecting to ourselves. We're really giving it's like reparenting and really giving yourself that love and care that you needed. Or like, I wish I could have spoke up and said, like, okay, for me personally, as a child, like when I was very young, like, okay, from ages 0 to 6, which is funny because that's about the time our subconscious is being formed. But from about this age, I was an only child from ages 0 to 4, or ages 0 to 3.5. And so I had a lot of attention, and one thing that I'm going to talk about, because a lot of women might be dealing with this with our patriarchal system kind of crumbling right now, this is going to highlight your father wound. Like I said, even if you don't recognize it, and even if you're not necessarily aware of it, you might feel more triggered by, you just might have father wounds coming up to be healed. And I've honestly been doing that for the last 4 years. Well, pretty much ever since I found out that my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, all the grief kind of just brought up my father wound. And I had no other choice but to deal with the emotions, to deal with the pain, to deal with the resentment, to deal with the hurt. And it really actually helped me to learn how to be in a relationship, because if you think about, as young girls, the first person we're in a relationship with is our fathers. And I'm not going to sit here and bash fathers, because I'm not one of those. My dad was, I love him so much. He's probably one of my most favorite people in the whole world. And I remember as a child, and he was the first man I ever fell in love with. So, for me, it wasn't necessarily the loss of losing a dad that just didn't stay around, or that had drug problems or stuff like that, or it wasn't or that didn't want me. It wasn't that case at all. So my loss stems from an attachment wound, and what I lost was the emotional connection. So actually, what happened when I became an adult is I would seek unconsciously. I would seek men that were emotionally unavailable, that could not be there for me, because I was trying to heal this wound of mine, this father wound, this masculine energy wound. And it really, so I would just, basically it's like that chase. You would chase after men who, just that couldn't meet you where you needed them to meet you. And really what I was doing is, I abandoned myself. So like I said, from ages 0 to 4.5, or 0 to 4, even 0 to 6, I was, cradled and loved and hugged and loved on, and especially by my father. And he adored me, and I fell in love with him. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be one of those girls, like I said, my father was the first man I ever loved. And so to me, he's the most handsome, and I just love him deeply. And he's the most caring and the most, I don't know, he used to put me on his lap. I was just his favorite person in the whole world too, and I could feel that when I was a kid. When I was a little girl, those memories came back, because for a long time I had a lot of resentment towards my dad, because about the age of 6, after I had started kindergarten, and our life had just become a lot more busy, and just a lot more going on, maybe a lot more chaos, maybe a lot more tension. And I had just started school, and school for me was scary. I'm not gonna lie. I was so scared to make friends. I was scared that I didn't fit in. So I struggled with anxiety a lot as a little girl. Even though I didn't know it, and I didn't know how to express this to my parents, I became very withdrawn and really disconnected. And I remember very clearly I've been healing a wound that I have around touch, around receiving touch, and abandoning myself and not running away from myself. And so when I heal this, I have memories that kind of pop up to show me where this wound began and where it stems from. And I very vividly remember one of my favorite things, my dad would used to he would play with my hair, or especially going to sleep, he would help me fall asleep, and he would just be very sweet and affectionate, and then and I would like lay on his lap in car rides and stuff between him and my mom. And and I remember about the age of 6, and I think I was having just a really hard day, and I wanted to lay on my dad's lap, and he wouldn't let me and he told me because I was too big, and I know he didn't mean that I was too big physically, I was just getting too old kind of, and that was kind of his reasoning, but for me I really needed it at that time, and he wouldn't let me, and I got super angry. I mean, I was kicking and stomping, and I got really upset because I just needed somebody to hold me and tell me it was going to be okay. And then I was abandoned. So I was abandoned emotionally. I was abandoned in that aspect where he couldn't meet that need, and it made me feel like I lost him. And then from then on, I had this deep, deep seated wound, this deep fear that I was going to lose him, and which freakily enough, I don't know if freakily is a word, but I helped to manifest the cancer, and so the cancer that he was diagnosed with, because my manifestation of, like, I was supporting it by constantly being worried that something was going to happen to him or I was going to lose him. And so even now it's so funny because that's how I express my anger, and I got in trouble when I expressed that anger because he wouldn't touch me, or like he wouldn't let me lay on his lap, and I really needed him to like hold me. Is I accidentally, like, when I was having a tantrum as a kid, I was in his car and I kicked his, it was like a glove box area, and then I got in trouble, and I'm pretty sure, and I remember him like, you know, slapping me and telling me to knock it off or to just like sit up straight, because I remember like laying, you know, because when I get angry now, as a grown adult, I stomp my feet. Sometimes I love to go to the earth, especially the sand, and I love to just pound my feet and dig a big hole into the earth. Because I still express anger, and if you think about it, a lot of young girls, they're told that their anger is bad. They're not allowed to feel anger. That anger is like a bad emotion. And so we repress this, and when I began to repress my anger and I began to repress my sadness, I became very anxious. I was really sad, and that really just turned into anxiety. And so I would be tense all the time, and I really disconnected from my own body because I was just in pain all the time. My body just hurt all the time, and so then I also began to eat as a way to like relieve myself from that pain, even if it was just for 10 minutes while I ate some chips and dip, you know, whatever it was. So this is why learning how to like be there for myself. Like, I wish I could have said, you know, like, I just need to be massaged. Like, my body hurts so bad. Like, I'm so anxious. I'm so tense that I just need, you know, to be hugged or, you know, cradled. And like my mom, because it's helped me heal my mother wound too, because my mom just isn't a very affectionate or super loving and nurturing and gentle. She's not like that at all. To be in her energy, she felt really disconnected, and so being in her energy, I learned how to disconnect from myself as well. And yeah, so this is where we begin to feel like very lonely or very isolated, is when we begin to abandon ourselves, and we begin to you know, our needs aren't met, and so we begin to think that those needs are bad or that we shouldn't need them. And so this can like keep us from believing or taking the time to sit here and massage ourselves, right? So it's, like I said, usually it's pretty relaxing for me. I'm obviously talking right now, but yeah, I just like to go and I like to just listen to my body. This is one of my favorite ways to listen to my body. So like I'll start like maybe here at my knuckles, and then I'll just like follow the ache or follow the pain until I get to like a spot where I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. And then you just kind of dig. So it's really like you have to listen to your body. It's not just like come here and rub yourself and, you know, get up and leave. It's really about making the effort to listen to your body. What does it need from you? And then giving it to it. So, like I said, yeah, the things that are happening in the world are really triggering our mother wounds and our father wounds. So not just our father wounds, but also our mother wounds. Because when we heal our mother wounds, like, and we begin to care for ourselves like this, we actually heal our father wound too. Because the father is the one that takes, the father energy within us is the one that takes action, like on our health, on our well-being, on our self-esteem. Like it takes action. So it does things that are in alignment with its highest good or with its values. So another thing I wanted to bring up is that so that this can be really important for creating a healthy connection with the body. So a lot of us are taught to shame our body at a really early age, especially if you watch TV, especially if you're exposed to society at a very young age. We begin to shame our bodies, or we begin to like distort our bodies, disconnect from them, wish they were something else, wish they looked some different way, or and we can compare ourselves so easily, and our society literally breeds it, like, and they make a profit off of it too. So when we really connect with this part of our bodies and we take action to feel good, so it's like taking the action. I'm gonna take this off because you're not gonna be able to hear me, but taking action on feeling good is really, so when you take action from a place of like habit, or you're taking action from a place of like repetition, or you're taking action from a place of like unconscious awareness, you're just taking action from a place of the same energy, and so you're not going to create the results that you desire. So you have to take action from a place of like the space of awareness, the space of, I'm going to do this because it feels right for me, it feels good for me, and that requires you to, guess what, get in tune to your feminine energy, your mother energy within you, which is your intuition, your guts, your gut instincts. And so you can't heal one without the other, in my opinion. If you start with the father wound, you'll end up healing the mother wound, because you'll have to take action on nurturing yourself. So like if you had a mother maybe that didn't nurture you, or didn't know how to nurture you, or didn't know how to meet your specific needs, or just wasn't very affectionate or loving, and that's what you need, then you have to start taking action. You have to take action to do those things for you, like maybe massage yourself. Maybe you need to change your diet. Maybe your mom didn't leave you with a very healthy diet or eating habits, or maybe it's like has to do with exercise. Maybe your mother didn't, take very good care of her body. Maybe it's self-esteem and practicing taking care of yourself mentally, and maybe journaling and writing things down to help you build your self-esteem, to help you rewire your subconscious mind to believe, that you're worthy, that you're good enough, that you're valuable, that you're loved and cared for. Because maybe, our parents loved and cared for us, but of course maybe there's this deeper part of us that feels like we weren't loved enough, we weren't cared for enough. And really that's what we just came here to love. We came here to learn that. That's one of our lessons as a soul, is to grow in self-love. And that's why you see like a huge self-love movement, in my opinion, is because we are unconditional, and a lot of us don't love unconditionally. We love contractually. We love for security. A lot of women are still in that age where they're, connecting with men and relating and having relations with men that they don't really love or care about. They're just using them to fulfill like a status quo, like, look, I'm married, I have kids, look at me, I made it, like, but deep inside they're very unhappy. They're very unhappy and they're resentful, and then they take this out on their children, they take it out on their partner, and they're not loving unconditionally, because they're not loving themselves unconditionally. And if they did, they would respect themselves enough to leave situations where, they weren't truly happy and fulfilled. But they would rather stay safe than truly know what it feels like to love, because it's harder, because all those fears, like I'm going to be alone forever, or, like nobody loves me, or those are all going to come up. Believe me, I've been doing it for the last 4 years. And they all come up, like all those fears of like being alone forever, or, and so a lot of people would rather settle than truly love. Because what we think love is really not love. And one of the greatest things I've been thinking about is that, because I've had a whole belief and value shift as I've healed my mother and father wounds. Like my whole value system has been crumbled and realigned, and to fit my beliefs. And my beliefs come from, source, from my own heart, from my own wisdom, not from what I was taught by my parents, because my parents taught me a lot of dysfunction and unhealthy habits and negative thought patterns. And I was thinking that recently, because I have this deep desire to like build an empire, to leave a legacy behind, to grow financially, to grow spiritually, to grow in the sense of health, like to continue to strengthen my body, endurance, like just breaking beyond limitations in my mind. And my beliefs like that I grew up with were completely blocking me from receiving any of these things, or from pursuing them and taking the action to create the life and create the empire that I desire. And what I've been learning recently spiritually is that my empire comes from my habits. Like what I'm going to leave behind for my children is going to come from my healthy habits, from my healthy mentality, from my healthy physical body. Like that it's not necessarily our possessions and our riches and our jewelries and our, and our gold and our homes and our beach houses and our like yachts and our airplanes, and just think of the most extravagant things, like when you think of like empire and leaving a legacy behind, or like books and like writing things, and what I've realized is that those aren't the empire. But the empire is the actions that I take. It's the words that I speak. It's the behaviors that I model. It's the habits that I create that are my empire. That's my legacy. And so while this whole time I thought it was supposed to come from the outside, I'm really recognizing that, wow, it comes from the inside. And when you build that within, then, it's gonna create a very stable foundation, energetically and spiritually and mentally before it comes physical. And so recognizing that your empire is not what you leave behind in your bank account. It's what you leave behind in the way that you speak to your children. It's the model, it's the behaviors that you model, it's the habits. It's most important, it's your habits and it's your behaviors. Those are your legacy. So I think that's really important. Like, are you gonna what are you gonna leave behind for your children? And I just thought that was a fun little thought, which I think I'm going to write a blog on it about this week as well. So stay tuned for that. If you follow me there, which will be like on my Instagram is where I do that through. So you can follow me there. I'll leave all the information below. And yeah, just continue to I know you're kind of probably just sitting here listening to me, but it's really important to just be connected to your body at the same time. Just massage yourself. I love this practice for myself. And I think that's really important, is to really just connect to, because when we connect to our hearts, we're really connecting to that eternal mother within ourselves. And when we connect to our minds and our habits and our beliefs, we're really connecting to, that mental aspect of it. We're really tending to our minds and caring for our minds. And that's more of our masculine energy. And then when you combine those two, then you're operating in alignment with the soul, because the soul, if you think about it, is the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energies. And what happens is, in our mind, we can either become very overly masculine, and this might cause you to have a lot of anxiety. You may struggle to, you might be very defensive, you might be very cold, hard, cut off, just rigid. Even if you're a woman, you can be very cut off, cold, snippy, resentful, manipulative, anxious. And that's when you know that you have too much masculine. So your energy is imbalanced. So you might be too much in your mind, right? So your mind is overactive. So what you have to do to balance, to counteract this over masculine energy, is to nurture yourself with a more feminine energy, this is where we learn to remother ourselves. So if we didn't have loving, affectionate, caring, gentle, healthy mothers, then it's going to be really hard for us to model this, right? Because what we've been modeled is dysfunction, what we've been modeled is unhealthy. And so what we have to do is take action, hello masculine energy, on taking new care of ourselves. So instead of binge watching the TV, maybe doing some yoga, or instead of eating the cake, you eat a salad, or you eat, some vegetables, whatever. And really taking action. And it's not about being perfect, believe me, I'm not perfect at all, not at all. I still overeat, definitely, but I just don't shame myself anymore. One thing I learned to do from my mother was to shame myself for eating, or to shame my body. So I just let go of that, because I'm like, that doesn't serve me. I don't need to shame myself. There's nothing wrong with me eating, or there's nothing wrong with me feeling full. There's nothing wrong with me having a little flab on my belly. There's nothing wrong with my thighs. There's nothing wrong with me, But I really learned this unhealthy pattern. And what I had to do is take action. So every time I noticed myself shaming myself, one of the things I would go to is like yoga, or just like putting your hands on your belly. Another good thing, you can massage your belly too. Because obviously, like if you are a woman and you have a period, it's really good on those days to just, because I've noticed that I was really hard on myself on those days when I just didn't feel 100%, and all I needed to do was just lay on the couch and rub myself. Like, I needed to be okay with doing that. Like, I needed to be like, okay, this is what my body needs right now, and there's no reason for me to shame myself. There's no reason for me to tell myself I'm lazy, or I'm not good enough, or that I need to be giving up and doing anything. So that's a very overly masculine energy too, because you have this idea that your value, and a lot of men believe this, that your value comes from your productivity. And that is a complete scam that has robbed millions of men from peace, from happiness, from abundance. More men in our country should be thriving, in my opinion. But their energy's been very distorted, and we believe that by running down the body and the mind, that somehow makes us feel like we did it. We feel accomplished for the day. If you feel worn out and tired and exhausted, and you don't have any time for the things you love, you don't have any time for your family, you don't have any time for your health, then you did it. You had a really good day. It's just a very archaic way, and it burns men out. And I don't know about you, but this world becomes chaotic when men are burned out, when men are not at their best, when they're not their tip-top mentally, physically, spiritually. It's chaos. It's corruption. It's complete anxiety-ridden, and that's, hello, our society, overly masculine. Time to bring in the feminine and balance it out. So this is a really great way to come into your feminine energy, sitting here in the stillness. Maybe even just listening to me talk, even if you haven't touched your body. You can even do your thighs and just grab your body and just, give it lots of love, because it needs it. And you have to be willing to take action, which is the masculine energy. Ooh, or your calves, one of my favorite things to do. I like to run, and I also like to dance. Also, I like to do yoga. And so my ankles, I love massaging my ankles and my feet all the way up into my calves. So that's another great thing to do. So you can massage all different parts of your body. And as you do that, as you start to take care of yourself and you nurture yourself, so let's say, for example, like I was saying, when I'm on my period and I just need to lay down on the couch and rub my stomach, so let's say you observe yourself, beating yourself up, or not being very nice, or you're just recognizing that your thoughts are kind of negative. What you have to do is then, counteract that and focus on faith, focus on, giving thanks. You can be in this moment, while you're rubbing your body, or while you're on your period, and say, thank you for my body, thank you for blessing me with this beautiful body, thank you for, even if you're in pain, because, a lot of people, they get cramps when they're on their period, and it can be unpleasant, and a lot of us have been taught, especially as women. I know my mom would talk very negatively about, period or menstruating, and so it just builds this belief that it's, something terrible. But a lot of people, they don't want to go into their feminine energy, and they don't want to sit still and rest, because it forces them to deal with the discomfort they're feeling in their body, and intending to it. So when we just kind of skip over that or bypass that, then we're not incorporating our feminine at all, and our energy will become very masculine, and we'll feel very anxious. We'll feel very yeah, like we have to control how other people see us, or we have to control how other people, yeah, it's just like this need to control. And it's very unhealthy, because then it's like the feminine energy trusts, she relies on her intuition. She knows that if she's resting and her body's telling her to rest, then it is safe for her to do so. So it's like really listening to your body's wisdom is a more like feminine energy. And then, so listening, taking the time to listen to it, feminine energy. Taking the action to tend to it and care for it, masculine energy. So the father, like, and also another way to heal your father wound is when you're not being productive, but you're still, and you're just taking a break. Maybe you're working on a project, or maybe you have a couple days off, like especially even on the weekends. I see a lot of people do this, is that like it comes the weekend time and they waited for the weekend all week, and then they don't know how to sit and relax on the weekend, you know? They keep themselves busy, and they don't allow themselves to rest, and then they're like, oh shit, it's already Monday and I'm so tired. Like, well, if you would have it's like use your downtime, use your rest time wisely. That doesn't mean going 1,000 miles an hour and keeping yourself distracted. It means sitting with yourself, tending to yourself, taking care of yourself. Giving yourself, you know, a nice little massage, giving yourself a bath, giving yourself a nice, healthy meal, like taking yourself on a walk, getting some exercise, like, and then when you do that, you really begin to balance your energies, and you form new habits, right? You form new habits. You start to take action in a new direction, and the more repetitive you are, the more consistent you are with those actions, and like, okay, so encouraging yourself, that's the masculine energy. So like I was saying, when you're sitting there and you're taking a couple days off, or you have the weekend off, the masculine, the healthy masculine part of us would encourage us. So like while we're sitting in the silence, while we're tending to our bodies, the healthy masculine part of us would be like, I'm so proud of you, you're doing a great job, you really deserve to rest, don't give up, like, like it would just encourage you. It would encourage you to take this time, like you deserve this time to rest. You can, you'll have, it'll all be waiting for you again in a couple days, or like it's okay for you to, it would just give you that permission to feel kind of safe in your ability to relax into your own body, and relax into what your body is asking you to do. So that's your masculine energy. It creates like this safe container that allows for you to be like, okay, if my body's asking me to tend to it in some certain way, then this is the action I'm supposed to take. So instead of being like, this doesn't make any sense, like you could be wanting to pursue a new career path, maybe, let's say, and you're following your intuition to help you do this, and your guidance is to rest. So this was probably the hardest for me, like especially with a weight loss goal. I wanted to, constantly be, trying to do, and sometimes my guidance would be to rest for a few days, to not go for a run, to, to allow my body to rest and recuperate. And that was the guidance I always resisted the most, was the guidance that was like, don't do anything. And I was like, there's no way. There's no, I'm like, I was so against not doing anything, but I just want you to know that you can come here, and I hope you take this time to just come and do nothing. Come and do nothing with me. And I promise you, this time is valuable. It is worth it. It is, it's trustworthy. You can trust this time. You can trust this time to be with yourself. And knowing that you're not wasting any time, and there's not like, you're not running out of time. That's probably one of my biggest fears, when I'm being told to like sit still and just be, and to receive and be more in my feminine energy, which I think a lot of us are learning to do in 2020, because we feel very out of control with the things that are happening in our environment, in our world right now. And so this will like highlight your need to control and your desire to control. So really what we're doing, it's kind of forcing us to go into our feminine energy, forcing us to slow down, forcing us to relax, forcing us to tend to ourselves, forcing us to care for ourselves in a new way, because the world's just not going to be the same, and we're going to have to learn how to cope in new ways, to cope in healthier ways, not in the ways that we've probably been passed down by our family members, and to really take action in a new direction, and to, to lead from our hearts rather than from our mind, because we can't go back to operating the same way. We'll create the same results. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready for something new. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you got a little bit of a massage in. If not, maybe you just listened to me chat. And if you did, thank you for listening. I really appreciate that. But I hope you take some time for yourself. I hope you care for yourself. And I hope you take time to connect with your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul, and to really nurture those parts of yourself, and to rest and relax and take some time for you. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it was healing for you. I'm sending you so much love, and I will be back next time. Take care.